My security. Hey, I'm sorry. I just jumped right in. Hello again. My security has been such an important thing for this world and me to explain to you a bunch of information historically that our predecessors did to us, the people that remain on the planet, that historically have done in repetition until we got to the video age that we are all in now, that keeps everybody kind of like on screen and candid camera, whether or not you realize it. And I don't like to be without makeup and show anything about me. But I've done a lot of stuff in my lifetime. I've got a lot of knowledge about people that y'all really are so completely obsessed with. It's ridiculous. I'm not obsessed with them, I'm one of them. But say that I am locked out of heaven. And if you think heaven is the arts world, it kind of is heaven. But they are actually prisoners of war right now because 500 years ago, the the Ling and the Ding-a-ling German Jew that was pissed off about the Harad Jews that don't like anybody because they think that they are the beginning of man and think they have some right to hold everybody else in contempt of court, so to speak, legalese, for not following their rules. And all I can say is the most powerful people have abused power since the beginning of time. They have not done the ones that were the holy families that were put on this earth to try to take care of everybody, that are supposed to be like Commonwealth royals that are supposed to band together and take care of all these lands. It's been crazy because they're greedy, and I think they have evil souls. I could be wrong, but I'm very spiritual. I would say everything, just like Bono has sang about, that everything you know about society was completely turned on its head. But I also have been, as well as y'all have been, at the mercy of the media. And the media has gone to reality, which is stranger than fiction. I mean, at this point in time. And what it has done has sociologically helped people see how similar we really all are. So I could condemn it because, I think it is an intrusion of privacy. But since my security, every time I've ever left, since I was born, I got sent to the Royal School, the St. Orlando Disneyland Nazi uh, monarchy facility where I was born, or whatever. It's freaking crazy because since 1837, they came up with this plan, because they had been scientifically studying reproduction as far as back as the beginning of time if you had a brain, because it's always been a question of whose fault it was. And they always want an heir of succession to take over their lands. And I get really irritated with lands and boundaries because it's ridiculous that you want to own it when, we're, as God's people, we're all supposed to own it. And we're all supposed to respect each other. We're not supposed to kill and covet and, envy and be jealous. And I might be idealistic. And I'll be honest with you, I am. I am, say, crazy as hell. True. But I promised people when I was little, when I was born, and I heard what had happened to my mother, my birth mother, as well as my biological mother, that I would explain to everybody what happened, over the last 500 years of this great idea of, making up a bunch of lies about these wars and blaming everybody else to keep everybody divided. That wasn't my plan. That was like the Sky Lords. So let's call all the oligarchs that are royalty that care more about money than they do the people. Have basically ripped everybody in the world off for a very long time. And me as a naive, very smart, I came in the world talking before I could walk. And I'm not the only one that has been done this way. When I was born and I went to St. Vincent's Royal, not St. Vincent's, I do love St. Vincent's Hospital. Dr. Andrews is actually one of my godfathers. He's related to Warren Buffett as well as Pope John Paul II as part of this puppeteering program that they did 500 years ago, because they decided that they had figured out how to scientifically recreate the monarchy by having this person have this person having this baby with this person, and then hopefully they'll get back to me, you know, which is kind of crazy soulfully, spiritually. And I want to break a bunch of myths and tell you a bunch of things that I learned when I was at the academy. But I didn't get to be royally born, like a royal birth announcement, until 1974. But I was born somewhere between 1959 and 1965. And the reason I don't know exactly is because since I was the first in vitro procedure in a virgin that was successful, you know, and they weren't ready to let me go. Science, as I said in another video, is way more advanced than they have let the common people around the world know. So I want you to realize that during the times that they were doing the war bombs, the nuclear bombs, the atomic bombs, they were also working on being able to, you know, bring life into the world artificially. And so I'm like the first one that survived. You know, I know they did it in animals and prisoners that they took during all these wars since 1837. You know, like Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein. It's kind of like a roadmap of taking this country and this country and this country's, you know, the slaves or that they brought over here that they thought were beautiful that they wanted to have in America. And, you know, and they didn't just do it to, you know, the Africans, you know, the Nigerians. They did it to the Germans, the Russians, the Irish, the English, the Polish. I mean, like, they decided, the Sky Lords, that they were going to recreate the monarchy and kill off all the ugly shit. All the ugly people. If somebody didn't deem you doable, they didn't keep past family members of all of us. They literally, from 1837, you know, right during that British-American War, you know, after the American Revolution, of trying, you know, everybody, the French Indian War, the Mexican Indian, you know, there's so many wars that's been going on over the last 500 years that culminated in 1837 with them basically capturing all the royalty from around the world and keeping them in one place, promising them that they were going to, you know, be able to, we were going to make America, the United States of America, the center of the world as God's promised land, because that was their plan. It's kind of weird, but America is like really one of the most beautiful places on earth as far as resources go. And what happens, you know, when they need people, they go steal them. And they didn't just steal blacks. They stole, you know, the royalty from Australia, from the outback. They literally went all over this world and stole us all and brought us here. And then they started testing on us. I know this sounds crazy, but my security has been such a big deal that I ended up growing up with the Southern Irishman that runs the drug cartel for the Pope. And it wasn't always that way. And if you're a cartel or a mafia aficionado that wants to know about things like this, it's a big system. I mean, it really is the Griffin wheel that keeps it going of their monarchy, that after they had captured everybody in 1837, but there's still some around the world, and they started their track back across all of Europe and Africa and Asia, and then all a bunch of lies that the, you know, ones that were in control said that, hey, you come here, you're going to be fine. We're going to give you the land, right? That's how they enticed certain people to come over here. But once you got here, you were still a prisoner. We're still prisoners right now. Do you think there's freedom in America or anywhere in the world? I don't. The only freedom that I have is my 45-mile radius bubble from the place that I grow up. I have Pakistanis, I have Egyptian princes, there's so much that goes on in America, but because somebody put on a suit and shaved before they came here, that they blend right in. Because, America is the melting pot. And they wanted, 500 years ago, they came up with this crazy-ass plan to prove if God was real, and that had also to do with it as well, with the mixing of things that they had in their religious, each one of the religiouses, I know that sounds crazy, each one of the religions that has been studied in history, and they started seeing the patterns of repetition. And I kind of have a knack at seeing patterns and repetition. It's kind of weird. But I've kind of drolled on. So I'm going to kind of see what I said in this video and see if I can do better. If I can't, I'll smoke some weed and I'll be back.